Good morning, Gerry Kelley.
Good morning.
Gerry, you are president of Design Containers, Inc. in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
And this is a company that you founded, is that correct?
No, it was founded by my father-in-law, Sam Vickers.
How long ago did Mr. Vickers?
Sam started this company in the 60s, and he assumed full ownership in 1973.
And at that stage in your life, where were you?
I was a sophomore or yearling at West Point.
Really?
Yes.
And you finished your studies at West Point?
I did.
And what was your status at completion in West Point?
So I graduated as a second lieutenant. I was assigned to the field artillery. And I went to the courses that you're expected to go to, field artillery. Officer basic course, airborne, ranger, and then I went to my first duty assignment, which was in Panama.
How long were you in Panama?
I was in Panama for approximately 2 years, and then I deployed from Panama to Korea.
Oh my. And what years were you in Korea?
So I was in Korea 1978 to 1979.
And did you feel at any time that you were in danger?
Well, it was a very difficult time to be in Korea because there was a lot of weakness in that area because the geopolitical situation was not good in Europe. And so all the non-commissioned officers who were in Korea were deployed to Europe, so we were lacking in non-commissioned officers. It was a difficult time to be in Korea, but it was also an exciting time.
And when you finished your 2 years of service, you were free to...
No, once I deployed from Korea, I came back for the Field Artillery Officer Advanced course, and then I was sent to Fort Lewis, Washington, where I commanded the D Battery, 1st Battalion, 84th Field Artillery, an 8-inch howitzer unit.
Were you looking at a career in the military at that point?
I was looking at a career in the military, and then I got an assignment where I had to make a choice between ROTC, what's called Force Readiness, and recruiting, and I chose ROTC. It wasn't a good fit for me, and I decided to leave the service.
Okay, and at that point you weren't sure what you were going to do with your life,
No,
is that correct?
I did not know. I absolutely didn't know, and I went into the job market, and I got 7 job offers. All 7 job offers. All of them were in sales, and I picked the best company of the bunch, which was a company called Procter & Gamble. I became a salesman for Procter & Gamble.
And were you married at that time?
I was not married. I was single at that time.
Okay, so you didn't have children support or a wife to support yet?
It was an opportunity for me to try to see what would be interesting to me in the business world, and I really didn't have any idea what I would do.
So how long did you stay with P&G?
I was Procter & Gamble a little over 2 years, and Procter & Gamble was going through some changes. I had an opportunity to go into the seafood business, and I went into the seafood business for the next 2 years. I worked for a company called Kiowa Seabrook Seafood.
Was that in Jacksonville?
That actually was in what's called Kiowa Island in South Carolina.
Okay, now what brought you to Jacksonville?
I later got a degree in computer programming and was working as a computer programmer in Charleston, South Carolina. Decided I wanted to go to law school. Arranged all my money so I could go to law school. Went to law school. That had always been a dream. I didn't think... I was 37 when I started, and I finished when I was 40. In my sophomore year, or my second year, I met my wife, Nancy Louise Vickers. We decided to get married. We're married before I graduated from law school, and Nancy is from Jacksonville, Florida, and she always wanted to live in Jacksonville, Florida.
And so you came down to Jacksonville.
Yes.
And did not have a job at that point.
No, I was offered a job by Brandt Moore at that time, which is a law firm that was still is, the Bank of America building.
So you practiced law for a few years.
I practiced business law with Brandt Moore, and then I did insurance defense with a firm that used to be called Gobelman & Love. And then when I decided at that point that I was not interested in doing that and was thinking about returning to South Carolina, when Mr. Vickers invited me to come join him with this company.
And did he want you to come in originally as of counsel or an attorney in-house, or?
Mr. Vickers is older. I think the idea was that I would eventually succeed him. He was in his mid-60s at that point, and I was in my 40s. and it seemed like a logical fit for me.
See, this is interesting for the Rotaractors to hear how somebody at your very high level achieved that. And I think a lot of recent college graduates don't really see that the rise to the top is full of sometimes bad decisions, sometimes some inefficient
they were all
decisions.
good decisions at the time. It leads you down different paths. And then when you go down a different path, then you have to make a decision if you want to continue on that path. And I think this has been a good fit for me, but when I was a young second lieutenant, did I envision doing this? No. But at the time that I made the decision, it was an excellent opportunity for me.
Well, as I drove into your massive facility this morning, and how massive is it? How many acres do you have here?
It's like 7.5 acres here.
And I must say, it almost looks like a hotel. It is absolutely like a Relais Chateau hotel. It is exquisite. But it's an industrial facility by any definition. What is it that you do here, your company?
We make a container for roofing asphalt. Roofing asphalt is used on flat roofs. You have a low slope roof. And that product comes to you either in a truck where it's heated, or it comes to you out of a cooker. And we make the paper container that holds the asphalt that goes to the cooker. So we actually sell our product to refineries or people who are associated with refineries. And when they crack the oil, one of the byproducts is roofing asphalt. That gets packaged by the refinery, sold to ABC, Bradco distributors, and those are ultimately sold to roofers who normally put it on commercial roofs.
So is your market a national market or a worldwide market?
Presently we sell in Canada, United States, Mexico, and Venezuela. We're the only one that provides this product. We also sell into England. It's fallen out of fashion in the European continent, but we used to sell into the European continent as well.
Why has it fallen out of fashion in the European continent?
There is a problem with disposal of the container that we make as far as bringing it in and bringing it back out. Germany was the one that led that, and so there's been some decisions to go in other directions.
I see. Now you have 4 children, is that correct?
I do have 4 children.
And do any of them have any interest in following their father's esteemed footsteps?
Yes. My oldest son, Patrick, works here with us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And what is his position here?
Well, he's just training, so he's learning all the jobs. He's actually worked on the production line, on both sides of the production line. Actually been part of the inventory process, been part of shipping. Now he's learning the accounting part of the business.
Which is a very strong way to become a leader, is to start really at the bottom and work your way up, as you did.
Right. And what you want to do is you want to learn each one of the positions, because if you learn the position, then you're going to be able to, when you're above that person in authority, you can understand what he's having to do to get things done. And you can appreciate the work he's putting in. You can also appreciate it when the work isn't done correctly.
What would you say is one of the, let's say, not to overuse the word value propositions, but what is one of the value propositions that you imbue to your employees at Design Containers, Inc.?
Well, I hate to say it, we're a patriarchal organization. If you come to work for us, we take care of you. We would like for you to be a long-term employee. We have no interest in 1 or 2 year hires. A lot of our employees retire after 30 years with us. We have an excellent profit sharing plan. We have a very good benefits plan, and we try to do all we can to make the experience of working here as nice as possible. Again, it's the long-term employee that we're interested in, not the short-term employee.
And do you think your company would have the same degree of success were it operating in another city in the United States?
Well, there's some unique advantages of being in Jacksonville as far as transportation is concerned. We're able to ship out of Jacksonville by various methods. Principally, we ship by road, and it's a hub for interstate commerce, but a lot of trucks having to pass through it. So we're able to ship at a relatively inexpensive as compared to other cities.
And how many people work at Designer Containers?
Okay, at Design Containers, there are 20 employees.
And would you say that most of your employees live within a 10-minute, 15-minute proximity, or do they travel?
We're in a high crime area, so most of our employees don't live nearby.
You certainly wouldn't know you're in a high crime area as you drive into this impeccable area that I said looks like a resort. You have maintained this facility just exquisitely. Does that take a lot of ongoing maintenance?
It just takes ongoing maintenance. I think that's the thing that people don't understand. It's if you do it every day, it's not a chore. If you wait for a period of time, it becomes a chore. But if you hold to a certain standard, it's easy for everybody to meet that standard.
Very interesting. Now, you are a beloved member of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville,
Well,
which is our downtown club, and everybody knows Gerry Kelley, and you're just embraced by all.
Thank you.
How long have you been a member of our club?
I've been a member since 2008, 2009. So
And-
7 years, 8 years.
What prompted you, in the busy seat that you have, to suddenly join the Rotary Club of Jacksonville?
Well, Percy Rosenblum is who recruited me, and Percy emphasized to me that it wasn't as stringent as far as making meetings as it had been in the past, and there was alternative ways to go. I used to travel a lot, and I would leave on a Monday morning and come back on a Friday. And so when the industry was different, I had to travel a great deal. So something that had a weekly commitment would be difficult for me. But with the alternative ways of making the Rotary, I thought I could do it, and I have done it. And I found it very enjoyable. It's a wonderful organization.
Now, you said you used to have to travel more. Is it because of e-commerce that you have not had to do the same extent of traveling?
This industry is a shrinking industry, and we have all the customers. There's no longer any customers in the industry. When we had a competitor, we would go visit our customers, and we would visit his customers and try to get them to use our container. When he decided to exit the industry, then the need for us to travel to meet new customers went down. We still go to the International Roofing Exposition. This year it'll be in Las Vegas. Last year it was in New Orleans. And we try to meet customers there. Everything else is pretty much word of mouth. If you own a refinery or have a refinery, you probably know about us.
Well, let's be honest. There aren't too many refinery owners in the 250 members that eat lunch together every Monday in Rotary. So tell me, Gerry Kelley, what is the single most profound benefit that you derive from being a member of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville?
So I think the thing that people miss is the charity aspects of the Rotary Foundation. And we support so many good charities. And I've had the unique privilege of being the chairman of the project and screening committee the last 3 years. And I've got to meet some wonderful, wonderful people who work in the nonprofit industry. And we get to learn about what they're doing in the city of Jacksonville. And as I tell people, these are the stories that don't get told. These are the stories that need to get told. We need to get more people in here to see what you're doing. And a lot of people are doing a lot of things with very little money and impacting a lot of citizens in our community who really don't have it as good. And across the board, every one of these organizations is manned by dedicated people who, for whatever reason, have decided to give their lives to these charities. And it's just amazing they're doing it. It's amazing the impact they have on Jacksonville. So I think what keeps me interested is that. And we're about to go through that process again. And I'm going to get the opportunity to meet some more people that I haven't met yet who are trying to get funds from the Rotary Charity Foundation of Jacksonville to support their particular cause. It has to be a 501c3, but outside of that, it's pretty open as to who could apply.
Very nice. Well, in closing, I want to thank you for your time. I
Thank
see
you.
you have a line of people waiting to see you, so I'm grateful that you squeezed me in.
Thank you.
But I want to ask you closing comment, closing remark about either how your position has enhanced your life or your Rotary has enhanced your life, or anything you want to say advice-wise to the younger members who are viewing this video. Any closing comments, Gerry?
So I think the best thing about Rotary is the opportunity to meet the other Rotarians. There's an awful lot of wonderful people and other businesses in this community who I never would have had the opportunity to meet. People who are exceptional in their particular fields, who are able to at least give me insight into what they do. And that's been proving to be invaluable as I've continued to be in this business. Not that I necessarily would use this all the time, but on occasion I've come to those people and asked them questions about what they do in order to understand what my problem is and what possible solution I could have. But I think the best years of the Rotary Club of Jacksonville are in front of it, and I think the best
Nice.
years of Jacksonville are in front of it. Thank you.
Gerry Kelley, President of Design Containers Inc., thank you so much for your time. We are very lucky to have you among us.
Thank you.